Hey guys, this is Edie. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hope you're all doing well. And in today's video we're going to be doing the mid-year book tag. So essentially what this is, you do it halfway through the year and you basically just talk about some things, and I've got some questions. I can't remember who I got these questions off, but if I remember I'll put it in the descriptions below so you can go check them out. But I basically wrote them down in my little notebook and I've got 16 questions that I'm going to go through and just talk about everything to do with books and things like that. So I'm just going to get straight on with the video, and the question number one is the best book so far this year. I feel like that is such a tough question. So I've chosen two books, one fantasy, one romance, because I couldn't just pick one. And the first one is Release in 10 by Chloe Walsh, because this book physically broke me. I done a reading vlog on this book, so if you want to check it out you can, it'll be linked on the screen somewhere. But I still think about this book. I still cry over this book like 2 months later, I think it is. And I can't stop thinking about it, and I need the sequel to Huey and Lizzie's story right now, because the way this ended had me in pieces. I've never sobbed at a book like this before. And then the fantasy book I have chosen is Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros, because this book, the way it ended as well, this book leaves off on a bit of a cliffhanger, and I subbed for that as well. But I just can't stop thinking about it, and like the Release in 10, I need the fourth book in this series right now, because I want to know what happens next, but she hasn't even started writing the fourth book yet, I don't think, so I've got a while to wait for that. But I am just absolutely in love with this series, both of these series. Question number two is, how many books have I read? Let me go on Goodreads, because I think it's like 80 something so far this year. I can't actually remember off the top of my head, so I'm gonna have to look on Goodreads. My 2025 reading challenge, will it say I've read 86 books? I don't know if you're going to be able to see that there, if it's going to focus, but I've read 86 out of 130 that I want to read. I've set my goal as. The third question is best sequel so far this year, and I'm going to have to give that to The Bond That Burns Us by Bear Bolan. That's how I'm going with pronouncing this name, I'm not sure, but this is the second book in the Bloodwing Academy series, and it basically follows Medra Pendragon, and she is told she's the last dragon rider, but there's no dragons left, and essentially she gets, I can't think of the word, is it betrothed to this like really high up like vampire, and she gets enrolled in the Bloodwing Academy, which is a school for like basically vampires, and well, they're mainly vampires at the school, but there's other like people, other sort of creatures you could say. And it's just basically her life at this school and things going on with Blake, which is the vampire she's betrothed to, and it's just so good. The way this book ended off, I needed the next book straight away, and the next book was going to come out this year because these were originally like indie published, but it got picked up by a publisher, so it's getting traditionally published now. So the third book isn't coming out, I believe it's March next year, so it's not actually that long. But when I thought I was going to get the third book this year, and I'm not anymore, I'm kind of annoyed, but I am very, very excited for the third book because of how this one ends off. I sobbed at the end of this one as well. I think there's a running theme so far in this video. I sob at end of books. So the fourth question is a new release that I haven't read yet, and that book is Ride With Me by Simone Sultani, and this is the second book. I don't know what series this is called, but it's a Formula 1 romance series. And if I remember correctly, this one is a marriage of convenience, which is one of my favourite tropes of all time. So I'm very excited about this, and I got it from Wells Books, I think, online, if I remember correctly, and I got given like some little like freebies. So I got like a bookmark and a couple stickers, but I also got it personally signed on there, which is so exciting because I've never had anything like personally signed before. So when I saw that, I jumped on that opportunity, but I haven't read this book yet, but I'm very excited. Yeah, they get somehow end up married in Las Vegas, I think, if I remember correctly, because it is very Las Vegas theme on the front. So I am going to hopefully pick this up soon. Hopefully this month I'll get to it, because I think it came out in June, I want to say, if I remember correctly. And I did really like the first book in the series. The first book is called Cross the Line, and I believe I gave that one 4.5 stars. So question number 5 is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I can't really think of any off the top of my head. Well, I know The Defender by Anna Huang, that's very anticipated for me. Soul Searching by Lila Sage. Got Wildcard by Elsie Silver that's coming out at the end of the year. You've got, I can't think, there's some more. There's another book coming out in the Playing for Keeps series that I'm really intrigued about. There's the new Devaney Perry book coming out. Also, I think this might actually be my top one, which I can't think of the name of it, but it's the 4th book in the Gods of Monsters series by Amber V. Nicole, and that's quickly become one of my favourite like fantasy series of all time because it is just so good. Diana, the FMC in that book, is probably one of my top FMCs because she is kind of like the villain. Well, she turns into the villain in the 2nd book. I'm not going to say anything else because I don't want to spoil it if you haven't read it, but I feel like that actually might be my top one because I believe that comes out in November. So I'm going to go with that one, but all the others are very honourable mentions. Question 6 is the biggest surprise. I found this one quite hard to like choose because I wasn't too surprised by any of them, but there's a book that, or a whole series you could say in general, that I have started reading this year. I think I did start, and like the way it has quickly become one of my top favourite like hockey romance series of all time is just everything to me. So maybe you could say that's kind of a surprise, I don't know, but I've gone with that. And the first book in the series anyway is Face Off by Chelsea Curto, and the way this series has me in a chokehold, like it's my favourite, like what do you call it, like the team in this book is just so good and they're so funny. They have this like team group chat, and every time it comes up in the book it never fails to make me laugh. But these books are also filled with so many like heartfelt moments, and the MMCs are always just so down bad for the girls, and I absolutely love this series. My favourite is the 3rd book in the series, which is Slapshot. So the 1st book is Face Off, then it's Power Play, then it's Slapshot, then it's Hat Trick. I don't know if the 5th book is coming out, but I believe the 5th book might be Coach and Player's Daughter. I don't know, I know it's the Coach is going to be the 5th book, I believe, and I know he has a daughter of his own, and I know he somehow, and I think it's an age gap. I don't really know where I'm going with that, but I think that's the 5th book in the series. But I guess you could say this was kind of a surprise because it kind of came out of nowhere. But this book, Face Off, is so much fun because they're both NHL hockey players, and Emmy, their FMC, is the first like female NHL hockey player that is like rostered, I believe. So this book was just so much fun. So question 7 is a favourite debut or niche author. I've got 2 for this because I found it hard to just pick one. So first we have got Mads Rafferty, and it's the Heir of Broken Fate series. I started reading this year, and this basically follows Princess Delilah, who is like a princess in the human lands, and her father is not very nice to her, and he's not very good to the people of the kingdom, and she just kind of wants to get help for them. And she thought the Fae didn't exist, but then it turns out they did exist, and she kind of goes for them for help, essentially. And I've read all 3 books in this series, and I think I gave this one 4 stars, and then the next one 4.5, and then the next one 5 stars, if I remember correctly. So they were just getting better and better. People compare this to ACOTAR, which I say yes, it does have similarities, but Mads says this is very similar to ACOTAR. It's like kind of inspired by ACOTAR, but I just absolutely love this. I love Nox, the MMC, because especially in the 3rd book, Heir of Broken Souls, I want to say, the things he was saying to Delilah, I was down bad for him in that book. Also, the 2nd author I've chosen is Bear Bolan, and this is the 1st book in the Bloodwing Academy series, which is On Wings of Blood. And I can't stop thinking about it, like I said in previous clip about the other book in this series, but like I just need the 3rd book desperately. Like I need the answers. I don't know how many books this is going to have in the series, I'm not really sure, but I am absolutely loving it, especially because it has like dragons, it has vampires, the like romance in this, the plot twist and the plot and all of that sort of stuff I absolutely love about this book and this series. So question 8 is the newest fictional crush I have, and that will have to be Hudson Hayes from Slapshot by Chelsea Curto, because the man he is, the things he does in this book, like I just can't stop thinking about it. Like I said, this is my favourite book from this series because this is the third book in the DC Star series. This is like a single mum romance with the MMC having a daughter called, what's her name? Does it say on the back? Lucy. Yeah, Lucy. And Hudson learns sign language for Lucy because Lucy's like deaf. And that was just so sweet. And like all the things he done for them, like he let them live with him, and I can't stop thinking about this man. Definitely my favourite man from the series, and he's just a walking green flag. The colour of the book is green, walking green flag. It kind of goes, I guess you could say. But if you haven't read this series, I can't recommend it enough, especially if you love like sports romance, hockey romance series. I feel like you're going to love this series. Question 9 is a book that made you cry. I think you might already know which book I'm going to choose, but I'm going to choose Release in 10 by Chloe Walsh because I think I said it earlier, I've never cried like the ending. I've never cried like I have at the ending of this book, ever, I don't think, while reading a book. I've got pictures of what I looked like after I finished it. I don't really want to post them because even just looking at those pictures, it makes me want to cry. I was like voice messaging my friend yesterday, and we were like she's like started the first book in this series, and I was like talking to her about it, but not spoilers obviously, and I was like crying, almost talking about Lizzie and Huey. But yeah, this book made me so emotional. If you haven't read the Boys of Torment series, I say I do like it. I kind of would recommend it, but at the same time I don't recommend it as well because of how maybe triggering it could be for some people. So if you do want to read it, do always just check the trigger warnings because they are quite heavy topics. I never check trigger warnings when I read books because nothing really phases me, but like especially in this book, the subjects that are like talked about and the things that happen in this book with Lizzie are very hard to digest, you could say. Question 10 is a book that made you happy. I think I'm going to go with one of the books that I most recently read because it's just at the top of the mind. I actually listened to it on audiobook, but I laughed so many times while listening to it, and it is Till Summer Do Us Part by Megan Quinn, and this is like a summer romance and it follows Scotty and Wilder. Scotty works at this golf company and it's literally all like men she works with, apart from her boss who is like a girl, and she kind of really wants to impress her boss, and basically all the men she works with all have wives, so they're like talking about that. And then I can't remember how it comes up for conversation, but she's like, oh, I'm married, just trying to impress her boss. And then everyone's like, oh, where's your ring? And she's like, oh, our marriage is in trouble, blah 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 blah. And it turns out her boss pulls her aside, and her boss's like husband is like a marriage counsellor, and she's like, oh, I can give you in touch, help you get through the marriage. So Scotty's telling her best friends, and one of her friends suggests Wilder, which is her friend's brother, and they end up going to a counselling session, and then they end up signing up for this like marriage counselling camp. And it is quite funny because they have to like fake arguments at the beginning, but then it kind of turns a bit too real for Scotty in the end, and it does kind of get emotional at the same time. But it is a really funny audiobook, and Teddy Hamilton narrates it for Wilder, and if you know, you know about Teddy Hamilton, so I would recommend this book, but it does have quite a bit of spice in it, so if you don't like a lot of spice, it might not be for you. So question 11 is the most beautiful book you've brought or received this year. So this was very hard because I do like to collect special editions. I have a Fairy Loot subscription for the YA and adult. I have a Lumacrate subscription, I have an Afterlight subscription, so I'm getting like pretty much beautiful books quite a lot each month, so it's very hard to choose, but I've chosen like a romance series, and I have chosen one fantasy book, so let me show you. So the romance series I have chosen is the Chestnut Spring series, and these editions are by Fairy Loot, and just how beautiful are the sprayed edges. I'm just going to show you one of the naked hardcovers, otherwise I'll be here all day showing you guys, but also the sprayed edges go to the top and the bottom. The end papers are plain. Look at the naked hardcovers. Each one of them has like a design on them to do with the book, and they're each just so beautiful, and the sprayed edges are just so beautiful, and I love them so much. I'm very shocked that I somehow managed to get my hands on them because they sold out pretty much instantly and I somehow got my hands on them, so I'm very happy about that. But these are by Fairy Loot, and I just realised the fantasy book I chose is by Fairy Loot as well, but they do some very stunning editions. And this is the, I believe, is it from YA? Oh, it's the adult fantasy. It's the adult fantasy book of, what month is it? May. And it is The Night and the Moth by, who's it by? Rachel Gallick. And oh my god, the sprayed edges, the cover, look at this, how beautiful is this naked hardcover? Like, I feel like it's not picking up like it should on the camera, but it is so beautiful in person. And it has these like beautiful end papers. Is the back different? Yeah. And oh, I absolutely love it. I haven't read this book yet. I've seen a lot of people reading it and raving about it, so I am very excited to read it. So I don't really know what this book is about at all. Question 12 is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? I really want to finish reading the Addicted / Sister Calloway series, because I am I just a couple months ago finished Hot House Flower, which is, no, I've read Kiss the Sky as well. No, it goes Kiss the Sky, Hot House Flower, I think. So Hot House Flower is the 5th book, and there's 10 books, so I've got 5 more books to read. I want to finish that by the end of the year. I want to finish the Mortal Instruments, the Shadowhunter universe by Cassandra Clare as well. So those are some ones that I can just think of off the top of my head. Question 13 is, how many 5-star reads have I had? I'm gonna have to go get my reading journal because I'm not actually that sure. I have just counted and I have had 13 5-star reads this year, which I think is quite a lot. Quite good. I have been very more selective of what I rate certain books this year, because last year if I liked a book I've rated it over 4 stars. This year if I like a book I've rated it 3 stars or above, because I feel like that's a good middle ground. That's what a lot of people do, because I was just giving books like 5 stars, 4 stars last year, even if I liked them, and now looking back at them I can hardly remember most of the 4-star books that I read last year. But anyway, moving back to the next question. The next question is, what books do you want to reread this year? So there's quite a lot that I want to reread, but I probably won't get to rereading any of them. I'd love to reread all of Anna Huang books. I really want to reread Onyx Storm and annotate it, because the first 2 books in the series are annotated and I haven't annotated Onyx Storm. I would love to reread Boys of Torment and annotate it, and Magnolia Parts and annotate it. There's loads of books that I'd want to reread, but I'm probably never going to get to rereading any books this year because I have so many books on my physical TBR to get through, so I want to cut that down before I start rereading books. So question 15 is, a book you enjoyed with mixed reviews. I don't have anything for this because I don't really know what books have mixed reviews. I might just say a book that I've been disappointed by this year, and it was I can't think of what it's called. I'll put it up on the screen. I seriously can't remember what it's called. It's literally gone out of my head. But I received it as an ARC from NetGalley, and I probably should have DNF'd it, but I don't really like DNFing ARCs. I just want to finish it. And I did not like it at all. I did not get along with it. I did not like characters. I didn't really like much about it, and I ended up giving it a 1 star. So I was very disappointed about that, because the premise of it and the title and everything about it just seemed so like up my street and so fun. I didn't like it. I can see why people maybe will like it, but it just wasn't for me. Question 16 is 5-star prediction for the rest of the year. I'm going to say I am probably hoping to give the 4th book in the Gods of Monsters series of 5 stars. Maybe the Anna Huang book of 5 stars. Those are the 2 that have come to my head at the time. Those 2 I feel like could be 5 stars. I feel like most of my anticipated releases could be 5 stars because I really like the 4 of them, but I have to wait and see. But those 2 are the ones that come to the top of my mind. And yeah, I just realised that was the last question. But if you did like it, do give it a thumbs up, and in the comments below put which book you're most excited about to read in the last part of the year. Like I said, mine is probably the 4th book in the Gods of Monsters series, because that series has me in a chokehold. Like Sam Kyle and Diana and the things that happened in the last book. I need answers, so I'm very excited to get answers from the questions I have. If you haven't already, do subscribe so you can see more videos from me, and I'll see you next time. Bye!